This is my 1970 Torino Cobra that I'm selling. And I've owned this car longer than any other car in my life, including any Cougar. I'm kind of attached to it. A friend of mine sold it to me right before he passed with the idea that I wasn't just going to flip it. But the years roll on and kids in college and things, and it's time to liquidate a few toys. But because I have an attachment to this car, we're going to go a little extra with the video so I can keep this video so I can remember it. Anyway, it's an unrestored car. Kind of hoping whoever gets it appreciates it for what it is as an unrestored car. Of course, it'll be your car, you can do whatever you want, but there's just not many left. This is how you would have found it in a used car lot in 1982, which is about when my friend bought it. Let's go for a ride. You'll still smoke us. Yeah. Ready? He's gone. That was awesome. Motor was rebuilt, I don't know, 30,000+ miles ago and a lot of years ago by Denny Alderidge Motor Sports in Portland. He's a renowned builder in the area. It hooks up good. This tranny is spot on. He did the tranny and motor. The 31 spline 350 True Track works exactly like it should. The drivetrain just feels good in this car. I wish the tires were a little stickier, but block in this car has been changed. The distributor and carburetor are incorrect. The right-hand exhaust manifold has a crack in it. It is the numbers matching transmission, heads, many of the other parts, intake manifold, but never will be a numbers matching car again once the block is gone. So if you end up buying this car, I want whoever buys it, I don't care if you're in Australia or whatever, to when you get it, go, wow, it's better than you said, Don. So I try to be honest. This car's been smoked in, it's been drank in, it's been wrecked, the motor's been blown up, you name it. It's a 1970 Cobra. I picture the guy that bought this in 1970 as coming home from Vietnam, a little bit crazy. That's why probably most of them got wrecked. Big smoky burnouts have been done on this car. Maybe I've done one or two. Other guys, yeah, that's who did it. out some of the defects on the car. First off, this door and fender have been replaced, and I got a original paint nice door to go on it. This one's got some scrape along here, so it comes with another valance, fender, and door. So it's like it hit the ditch, they replaced those panels, and then they hit the ditch again, and so I have those panels again. But none of the aprons are wrinkled, none of the A-pillars hurt, none of the rocker got hurt that I can see, so we'll say it was a light accident. That is the incorrect snorkel, but it works. Correct shaker, base, mid plate, correct valve covers, exhaust manifolds, incorrect fuel pump, thus the return line block here that's been there forever. I left it there in case I need a screwdriver. Correct shroud, that's a big deal. That's very hard to come by. So showing a little stress here, but that's huge. Original radiator. Everything's nice and straight up here. Grill is unusually nice. There's a hairline crack. Here, focus in on this right here. Right there, see that? Needs a dab of super glue. But again, you know, I don't want anybody to have any surprises on this car. I do have the bracketry for this in the trunk, so these are all functional and complete. It's just they're a hassle to take on and off every time, so that's why the previous owner took them off and I never put them on. The quarters on this are untouched. They've never been hit. That's a little bit of scrape there, but that's the worst. I can't find any serious rust in it. The other side has a pimple. 15/7s. These are quite valuable. I would definitely take less for the car if I got to keep those. I know a lot of people like Magnums. These tires have been on it for quite a while. I personally like them. They're probably unsafe because of the age, but hey, when was the last time you saw this vintage of BF Goodrich? Walk around the car here. Nothing's been touched on the taillight panel. Never been bumped from behind that I can see. Here's the rust I was talking about. There's a little bit of rust right there. And I think that's it from this angle. Glass is scratched on the driver's side. One of the pieces here is tinted and should be clear. It is what it is. It's just an unrestored old driver that's showing some patina. Again, I hope somebody buys this that kind of wants to leave it alone and not put power disc brakes on it and not put power steering. Almost all of them have been changed. It's kind of cool to see one that still has manual steering. That's very rare. Not desirable, but rare. Couple things on the interior. What I like most about this car is the condition of the dash pad, minus the 2 screws where the CB used to hang on the receiver. The original AM radio was put back in by me. It did have a AM/FM 8-track CB, believe it or not, and they cut just a little bit around here, so that's a bummer. That's for an old alarm. That's a hole drilled in there. The AM radio works, the heater functions work, the fuel gauge kind of works. You basically know how much you have, but when you get down to empty, you're not sure, and when you're completely full, you're not sure. Temperature gauge works. 114 mile an hour speedometer works. Really rare piece. Came out of an old, they were meant for police cars, but anyway. Ribbon tack works awesome. I do have a NOS speedometer cable for this because the plastic little pieces broke off of it and it keeps coming off the back, so that goes with it. Windshield wipers work, horn works, lights work. I think everything's functional in here. Steering wheel has the typical cracks at 3 at 6 o'clock. I like it that way. It's meaning I just, you know, I'm not into restoring this car. Seat belts work, except for maybe somebody out there can tell me, how do you replace those little plastic things that break out of here? Email me if you know. I had the mirror lens restored on this, so it's not all goofy like most of them. That's a service we got on our website. Carpet is just our auto custom carpets reproduction. That's all they got. I'm not crazy about it, but it works. I drove it for years without carpet. It's a little quieter with carpet. I just put reproduction there. You got a couple tears in the headliner. I think this is actually not a tear. This is a mouse hole. Years ago it did smell in here. Smell has subsided. I changed the heater core. That was where some of the stink was coming from. That's why I ran it without carpet, get the smell out of here. We put some rust proofing on the floorboards. Shifter works perfect. Seat's a little soft here, but I'm a big guy, so I like the fact that it squats down a little bit. It gives me a little better vision. It's been reupholstered, but could use it again. Underneath, I want to walk you through the goods and the bads. Original lower control arms. Upper ball joints have been changed. Upper A-arms, the shafts squeak. Anyway, the driver's side does. The passenger side doesn't. So, you know, eventually you'll at least do shafts, if not put Zerks in them. You know how that works, hit and miss. What I like about here is when this was an accident, nothing of the structure got hit. I mean, look how straight, that's just tin. That isn't a real beefy part. So that's never been hit. This is pretty original looking and untouched. Nothing boogered with here. Rock solid, even under the battery tray. Look under the battery tray of this car. I mean, if it's got rust, it's hidden to me. Nice and solid in there. Let's move along. A little bit of a leak going on there. I was just running it hard, but it doesn't puddle. You always get a couple drips though. Exhaust needs to be replaced. Good grief, you need a crossover here and get rid of these glass packs. Torque boxes are perfect. Frame rails, perfect Western original paint down here like you'd expect. But there are some pinholes, and that's more than a pinhole. Look right there, that's a hole. I personally wouldn't change the floor pan on a car like this, but you know, you need to be aware of it. Notice the nodular case is not here. This is a regular 9-inch case. Like I mentioned before, True Track 350, 31 spline, correct 31 spline axles, original leaf springs. Look at this, I like this. All this area is original, rock solid. I just put the tank in recently. Wasn't that bad, but it had a dent in it and it had some, corrosion. I do have another rear valance for it. Moving over to this side, this is ugly, but it could be ironed out. Nice and solid. Right here, right, oh, look at that. Look at that. You got a little bit of rust right there. So this whole area right here is soft, but real strong in there. Same in here. Oh, I went through in one little area. I don't know if you can get your camera. Go over here and see if you can get your camera this way. Feels a little soft, I think. Right there in the corner. Here's the spare parts bin collection. Original jack, which I would personally never use. It'll screw your bumpers up with the front and rear brackets. These are for the hood locks. These are extremely hard to find. This is a reproduction. The current one in the car does not work. NOS accelerator cable, that's a big deal. This is just a fuel line in case you had the original carburetor, which it doesn't. Shaker bracket, battery bracket, spacer for the radiator, which I don't know how it fits. One of my guys put the carpet in, forgot to put that in, so it's missing that under there. No spare tire, but look how rust-free the trunk is, man. Nothing's wrinkled back here, not full of mud in the quarters. I think there is some mud back here in this quarter. Yeah, right here is a poor job of that's thicker than you should have filler in there. That could easily be fixed, and they didn't. They just chose to butter it up. This is kind of cool. Original paint with these original stickers here. And if you look down this edge here, it's not all swollen like most of them. So that's kind of a big deal to have a deck lid that's this solid. You Torino guys might know, I don't know. This is correct. Staggered shocks from the factory. Nothing's been changed here. Original paint, spare tire hole down here. What's that doing there? Did they automatically have them bonded to every car and then have to break them off? Or was that an accident that ended up there? I have no idea, but it's going to stay there. It's actually a pretty well documented car with all the original gewgaws you get when you buy the car. These are the factory codes for the trunk, glove box, ignition, and doors. And I actually used those codes to cut some original Ford keys. And so I have verified that those are the correct codes. That's the original owner, Robert White. I paid for the Elite report, which is cool. Here is all the documentation on the engine showing that it was a pretty impressive build, if you ask me. Over here we have the original deed of trust. He traded in a 69 Sport Coupe Chevrolet Camaro and paid $101 a month on this car. It's interesting, this was a special order car. This is the way he ordered this car. And it shows him buying it way before the build date. So look at those pictures on the listing. What I really like about this car is it's inexpensive. You can jump in it in your work clothes. You don't have to worry about the paint. You don't have to worry about the interior. You can go have big block 4-speed fun without big block 4-speed price. It's the same price as a small block car. You know, most people have been priced out of some of the high dollar muscle cars. And it's unique. You just don't see these anywhere anymore.